Hey guys, welcome to another huge episode of Triggered. I hope you all had a great Columbus Day. It's Columbus Day again, folks. It's not Indigenous Peoples Day or anything like that. I mean, it's like Columbus. It's the one immigrant that the Democrats really must hate for some reason. It's actually kind of unusual. But what an absolutely extraordinary week it has been for America, for the world, for peace, and for the future of the Middle East. We are literally witnessing history in the making. Not just any history, but the kind of history that our children and our grandchildren will read about. The kind that gives us hope that even the most long-standing conflicts and wars can actually be solved, guys. We don't have to just succumb to the never-ending wars. We don't just have to pretend that they can't be fixed. We just needed a new president. Literally, that's it. All we needed was a new president. Someone who wasn't an establishment stooge, someone who's actually signed the front of a paycheck, not just the back, someone who's actually negotiated when he had stuff at stake, when he had stuff on the line, not just playing with other people's money or other people's lives like we get from these career schmucks. It's different. This week, we're watching all living Israeli hostages walk free from Gaza. That's a really big deal. 700, almost 50 days, people have been held captive. They're walking free now. Families who never stop believing. Stories of human resilience. And something that once seemed impossible turned into something inevitable. So we're going to get into all of this on this special Tuesday edition of Triggered. We didn't do it on Monday, long weekend, holiday weekend. I had the rare chance to be able to take my kids away for a little bit. So we're going to do a Tuesday episode since more people are going to tune in probably on a Tuesday than they would on a Monday holiday weekend. But make sure you guys are liking, sharing, subscribing so you never miss one of these major episodes. Remember, if you guys missed the show here on Rumble, go over to Apple, go over to Spotify. If you have friends that get their podcast that way, make sure they know. Like, share, subscribe, get it out there. Get the word out, because you and I both know the mainstream media is not going to do that for us. It's up to us to make that happen. For all of the top headlines that we cover here on the show, go over to my news app, MXM News, where you can get the mainstream news without the mainstream bias. And of course, don't forget about our brave sponsors for having the guts to support this program. They matter. They have the guts to do it. Show them some love back. Check them out. Support them. See what's for you. It all helps.
So let me ask you guys, how much time do you spend every day clicking around online, searching, scrolling, typing, endless tabs? It adds up, doesn't it? Well, there's a new AI web browser from Perplexity called Comet that is completely changing the game. Comet feels like having a personal assistant living in your browser that can actually do things for you across the internet. Yes, actually do things, not just give you answers. You can ask Comet to handle tasks, and it literally clicks, types, searches, scrolls, just like you would to get things done in the background while you go about your day. Comet can shop for you, make reservations, book travel, summarize articles or videos, send emails, schedule meetings. It saves you a massive amount of time. I've been using it to track down news stories for this show. You can compare products when you're shopping and book travel without dealing with 10 different tabs. Download Perplexity's new AI web browser Comet by heading to pplx.ai/Don Jr. Plus, right now, when you download Comet, you get a month of Rumble Premium for free. Again, guys, that's pplx.ai/DONJR. It's pretty easy. And also, guys, don't forget about the Birch Gold Group, where you can diversify your savings and protect your future. The Trump administration is moving fast to right all of the left's wrongs. But with all the damage we've seen the Democrats do, it's always smart to be prepared. And that's why thousands of Americans are buying gold now from the Birch Gold Group. Here are the facts. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has increased by 30%. And Birch Gold makes it extremely easy to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Or you can even buy some gold to store in your home safe. Just text my name, Don Jr., D-O-N-J-R, to the number 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, only useful information. It's about learning more and educating yourself. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of protecting your savings today. Again, text my name, Don Jr., D-O-N-J-R, to the number 989898.
So, guys, for the news rundown, we're going to begin with a little thing called peace in the Middle East. You know, what would have prior to Trump and prior to Trump derangement syndrome been the holy grail of geopolitics, right? As Hamas has now handed over the remaining hostages as part of the first phase of the peace deal. Here was the scene in Israel with these incredible and emotional family reunions.
אבי, תן, זהו. בואי מירי. גם.
אז רגע, אני אשים את התיק פה, כאילו?
שימי, שיהיה לך נוח אחרי זה.
זה בסדר לשים פה? אפשר להיכנס? בואו. אבי, להשאיר את ה...
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. יוסף חיים! חיים שלי! האור שלי! הלב שלי! הלב שלי! הלב שלי! די, זה מאחוריין כבר. נשמות שלי! אוי, שנתיים! יום יום! חיים שלי כפרון עליך! הלב שלי! חזור לי החיים! תודה לאנשים שהחזירו אותך חיים! תודה.
Guys, we saw a mother speaking to her 25-year-old son in a video call, telling him, "There's no war. It's over. You're coming home." These are real lives, real people actually impacted, because we can actually make a difference if we actually try, if we're actually willing to do something a little different, if we don't follow the same failed convention that goes on and on again. And, you know, Einstein's rule of insanity, you know, something's insane if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You're never going to get it. Trump changed the game. He did it differently. And with that, he got the results we're all looking for. We witnessed another hostage being reunited with his father. We saw celebrations in Gaza, in Jerusalem, in places across the world. Celebrations by Israelis, by Palestinians, by Americans, by everyone. It's powerful to see what's strong, what actual leadership can achieve. And as powerful as these individual stories are, this is also about something even more. This is about proving that peace is possible. It can be done, folks. Just because there's no money in peace doesn't mean it can't be done. We just have to overturn the norms. We have to do it differently again. And as one of the Israeli families said today, President Trump kept his word. Okay, remember, guys? Promises made, promises kept. President Trump kept his word. He got this done. He did it against all odds. He did it when everyone said there's no way he could do it. They laughed at him. They made fun of him. And yet here we are. Check this out.
Well, I think President Trump needs to know that we really thank him. And it was hard for us to say it in advance because we couldn't really believe that was true. 20 hostages are actually coming. All of them are alive. All of them look good. And the fact that he made it, he promised and he kept his word, and hostages are here, is just amazing. And we want to thank him for that.
For too long, for far too long, the so-called experts said that this day would never come. They attacked my father on the issue. They wanted to recycle the usual diplomatic tropes and canned responses. And now they've been proven wrong yet again. In case you guys don't remember how bad it got, the TDS, the insanity, here's a little trip down memory lane I think we all need to go down to remember exactly what we were up against.
The two-state solution is the only way to achieve a just and lasting peace.
Joe Biden is fighting for a peace in the Middle East, is fighting to end the hostilities between Israel and Gaza. It's Joe Biden that's standing for peace and a lasting peace at that. And it's the Republicans that, frankly, would stoke the flames of war in the Middle East.
We're going through that kind of crisis, I think, now in the Middle East. There are a lot of decisions that have to be made. I don't think Trump is capable of making the decision.
Honestly, these fake news frauds regularly accuse Team Trump of trying to start World War III. But again, don't take my word for it. Here they are in their own words, right? The guy that actually is creating world peace, the only guy to actually move the needle in years, is the guy that was going to start World War III. Check it out.
Well, we were on the brink of World War III because Donald Trump took the worst possible option given to him in a slideshow.
In this country, we have begun to overestimate the dangers of impeachment and underestimate the dangers of a deranged president retaining control over a nuclear hyperpower.
We cannot wait around while Donald Trump is in control of the nuclear weapon.
Your objection to potentially going into World War III cannot be procedural.
The biggest danger of the Trump presidency is that we are always just a Trump whim away from nuclear war.
They say it's World War III, but I'm looking out my window. It's very quiet in those smoking craters out there.
Has to be told that it's his job to avoid World War III.
One Democratic congressman sent me a note this evening and say this president wants this war.
A future administration needs to find a way to put an end to the forever wars.
We're in new normal, and the new normal is forever war.
But there's a big difference between ending the forever wars, which he wants to do responsibly, and what seems to be President Trump's rather itchy Twitter finger.
The objective needs to be to end the forever wars.
If Congress does not want to go to war, now is the time to start putting restraints on this president. And again, they've been giving him green lights all the way.
Maybe it's because we're going to take on the military industrial complex.
On every issue, we show you these montages, from the Russia hoax to the obvious Biden decline to immigration. The same people always seem to just keep getting it wrong. It's almost like it's on purpose. It's almost like they're just delivering a narrative because that's what they want to be the case. My father, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, J.D. Vance, Jared Kushner, and many others all deserve enormous credit for their persistence, for their vision, for their refusal to succumb to the garbage that you see out there, for their refusal to accept that peace was impossible. They actually did it. Because the Trump administration understands something fundamental, guys, which is sometimes the most complicated problems require not endless meetings and conference calls and semantics or a task force or memos. But sometimes they actually require bold solutions and a whole new playbook, not the same recycled garbage that has failed us for decades, over and over again, inevitably. Peace doesn't happen by accident. It isn't just about grand gestures and the photo ops. It's about the patient, detailed work of building confidence, addressing concerns, and finding real solutions, things that work for the parties involved, not just from those who are going to profiteer from it in Washington, D.C. Here's my father speaking on this incredible and historic deal this weekend.
Today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith in humanity and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world.
And just look at how the world responded, guys. The Egyptian president called this the birth of a glimmer of hope. The Emir of Qatar, leaders from France, Germany, Italy, Canada, India, Pakistan, and so many other places all spoke in unison about this once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and the bitter hatred behind us. Watch the world leaders signing the Gaza peace agreement in Egypt.
Everybody smile. Okay, we'll smile. We just made a big deal today, so we'll smile. The biggest ever, right? Back.
عقب جنبها والجنوب ده ما تقولنيش.
The press has treated us very well. Everybody likes us. The press is excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
The momentum of peace is powerful. Would world leaders from Pakistan and Paraguay, from Indonesia to Italy, all gather in one place to celebrate peace, that creates a kind of international pressure and commitment that's hard to reverse. I'm sure plenty of people will try, okay? But that collective, that understanding, that matters. It's going to be hard for them to undo it. When the Palestinian Authority president stands alongside leaders from 20 different nations, all committed to this process, that matters. That changes the game. When countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, and Egypt all pledge their support, not just for the ceasefire, but for Gaza's reconstruction, that, guys, is the foundation for lasting change. The plan itself is remarkable in its scope and its ambition. Phase one is about the immediate priorities. The hostage release. We're seeing them being released in real time. The prisoner exchanges. The ceasefire that's allowing for additional humanitarian aid that can end some of the other misery. The withdrawal of military forces. But the vision extends so much further. We're talking about an international board of peace chaired by your favorite president, my favorite dad, my only dad, as far as I know, President Donald J. Trump himself. We're talking about a massive massive reconstruction effort. And when I say massive, guys, we're talking about over $50 billion in international commitment to rebuild not just the infrastructure, but the hope of an entire territory, an entire people. Peace in Gaza opens up possibilities we could not have imagined even months ago. The Abraham Accords showed us what Middle East peace could look like between Israel and Arab nations, that people actually wanted to conduct business, that some of the norms and the hatred and all of this was largely manufactured. People just wanted to be better, to do better together. They were good with it. They just couldn't break those bounds. My father and his team did that in the first term. This takes it to a new level. And honestly, this allows the Palestinian people to finally be part of a vision of a peaceful and prosperous Middle East. Think about the young people on both sides who can now imagine a future where cooperation replaces confrontation, where trade replaces terrorism, where hope replaces hatred. That's really big stuff. Watch the celebrations break out in Gaza and Tel Aviv following the announcement of the peace deal right now, because it's remarkable. Both sides want this. They always did. They just needed someone that could get them over the line. And that was my dad.
All of the remaining hostages held by Hamas will be released in the days ahead.
I want to thank President Trump for bringing this amazing victory. That's the name for it. That's a victory. He deserves a Nobel Prize for this, a Nobel Peace Prize for bringing this amazing deal.
Similar moments of joy unfolding inside Gaza as crowds of Palestinians cheered and chanted. After 2 years of war, an influx of aid and relief will make it to residents there. The Israeli cabinet is set to formally vote on the deal this evening. Once that vote passes, Israeli forces inside Gaza will have 24 hours to pull back to agreed-upon lines within the enclave. President Trump says 20 living hostages will be released on Monday. Israeli media reports the exchange could take place sooner. Local hospitals are already preparing for their return. The hostages will be swapped for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, 250 of whom are serving life sentences. As for the bodies of the...
Candidly, as a practical matter, my father's schedule over the last few days is one for the record books. He flew across the world. He met with leaders from many different countries, met with families, delivered speeches, talked to the press, finalized peace deals, all basically in 24 hours. I mean, obviously they've been working on this for weeks, but they got it done. They made it happen. Can you imagine that kind of energy from Joe Biden, Obama, Bush, frankly, any of the other characters of the recent modern American history, or the rest of the world for that matter? And here he is speaking to the Israeli legislature and even getting a few laughs when mentioning Biden and Blinken, who are now pretending that they were somehow part of it, like they actually did anything whatsoever. They had 4 years, they did nothing across the world. Everyone knows, everyone gets it. If it wasn't so sad, it would actually be funny, but I guess in the wake of all of this incredible news, everyone can have a little laugh at it. Check it out.
In the Abraham Accords, we have to join up and get together. You can have that whole thing filled out. We had a very weak administration, worst president in the history of our country by far. And Barack Obama was not far behind, by the way. And they did nothing with this incredible document, the Abraham Accords, but now you can fill them up. Now you have peace, you have people that really like Israel.
And for all of us MAGA patriots, all of you here on Rumble, you've all probably received a lot of personal and professional blowback for being on Team Trump over the last 10 years. You've been attacked, smeared, threatened, but you stayed faithful because it was the right thing to do. You got it, you believed it, and you knew you were doing what's right. This week, is one of the reasons why. This is your ultimate vindication, okay? We got it. I've talked about it for years. There are consequences to being a conservative. There's more consequences to being a vocal conservative, and there are far, far, far greater consequences to being a vocal, Trump-loving conservative. And one of our friends here at Rumble, Scott Adams, reflected on this in a really powerful and an emotional way, saying, and I quote, "I sacrificed everything, and today it was worth it." Check out Scott in his own words.
Here's what I feel, and I hope that the rest of you feel it too. As I posted on X, cryptically, but I only wanted the people who understood to understand it. I don't want everybody to understand it. And my post on X was just this. This is why. That's it. This is why. What I mean, of course, for the few of you who don't know exactly what that means, is that in 2016, when I decided I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but quickly I figured it out. When I decided I would throw away my entire social life to back Trump, and when I eventually threw away my entire career, which even before I was canceled, my licensing business and book sales went to almost nothing because I was supporting Trump. I sacrificed everything. I sacrificed my social life. I sacrificed my career. I sacrificed my reputation. I may have sacrificed my health. And I did that because I believed it was worth it. Today's the day. Today's the day. I'm really happy I lived long enough to see it.
An incredible guy, someone who understood, someone who brought so many on the train, who made it okay. You know what? If you talk about it with your friends and you do it reasonably, there's probably a lot more of us out there. People became so afraid to say it. But once you opened up a little bit, you realize there were so many more of us. We all have to become unafraid. We all dealt with it, but guess what? No one's going to hold it against you that you're a late adapter. Just get on the boat. But meanwhile, what have they been doing? Mostly just complaining about all things Trump and keeping the government shut down, that kind of nonsense. Because the true leader of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett, doesn't even know her civics. She was downplaying the whole peace deal while claiming that Republicans can unilaterally end the shutdown because apparently she's unaware of how the Senate and probably the Constitution itself actually works. Check out Jasmine Crockett. This is what they got, guys.
Right now that there is a debate about funding the government. I've been a little bit confused because Republicans, last time I checked, are in control of the House of Representatives.
You ain't
They're
confused.
in control of the Senate, and then the president signs the bill. Okay, but I've heard people suggest that Democrats somehow have the ability to shut the government down. So can you please educate the people on what's happening?
No, you are not confused.
Okay, all right.
You are a
Thank you.
lawmaker. You understand how this works. And, Republicans don't know how to count. But here's the thing. When you're in a legislative body, you control everything. So if the government shuts down, it's on y'all.
That's what the Democrats have to offer. Absolutely nothing. Some may even be vacationing in the Bahamas while the shutdown is in effect. I may have run into them, and I'm sure they'd never say it publicly, but one particular person who was one of the leaders of Trump impeachment 1.0 came up to me and my kids in the Bahamas this weekend and talking about how amazing the Israel deal is. Again, I'd love to see them do it publicly, but, I can't expect Democrats to be, decent on a public venue, even if they are in person. But meanwhile, My father is showing just how much strength can be a force for peace. Remember, peace through strength, folks. And how actually doing what you say you're going to do can deliver historic results. That's the character of a true peacemaker. That's the character of a builder, inspiring strength and confidence for others to want to achieve the same goal. That's leadership, folks. That's what we've been looking for. That's what we've been starved from for decades. It doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen through lofty rhetoric. It happens by action. And across the globe, we're seeing its impact. In fact, this year's winner of the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, Maria Corina Machado, who's been on the show, who is a fearless leader. She's the opposition leader in Venezuela. She's been threatened, attacked, and hounded down. People who even, allow her to buy goods at their stores or restaurants, they get shut down. She's been on the show. Incredible woman. She actually dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to my father for his commitment to peace and prosperity all around the world. Check this one out because it matters. It's important. Everyone gets it. Even people who are also themselves doing incredible things. They understand.
And they decided to dedicate it to President Trump because he deserves it. Because not only has he been involved in only a few months in solving 8 wars, but his actions have been decisive to have Venezuela now at a threshold of freedom after 26 years of tyranny that have destroyed the lives of millions of Venezuela, destabilized the region, and undermined the institutions in the United States, because having Venezuela as a safe haven of the enemies of the United States and using our territory and our resources to hurt the American people and American institutions is certainly a threat to the national security of the United States and the security of the hemisphere. But President Trump has been very clear, courageous in terms of dismantling this criminal structure. And on behalf of the Venezuelan people, I reaffirmed our gratitude and our commitment to this cause for the whole America. So I insist he deserves it.
So for all the leftists who are trying to do a victory lap for my father not winning or whatever it may be, you guys just had another complete and total self-own. Okay? The world recognizes it. Maybe it'll happen in time. My father doesn't care. As he was mocked during town halls on CNN for saying all he wanted to do was stop the death, because, that's so terrible. Got to keep the death going. I guess that's how they pay the bills. The people who mocked him, they're owning themselves. They've beclowned themselves for years, and they'll continue to do so. And there's an even broader context to what we're celebrating today, which is that clear, principled leadership and a clear mission focus leads to real results, guys. Okay? This is what happens when you refuse to accept that certain problems are unsolvable and that certain conflicts are permanent. You don't have to accept that. We've shown it. My father shows it and has done so many times. We all have to stop accepting that. It's not the case. It never was. It just felt that way. It felt so futile for so long because no one was willing to do what it takes. No one was willing to break the norms. No one was willing to take on their own party who disagreed or, again, was profiteering. And honestly, if the regime media had an ounce of self-awareness or integrity, they would go on the record saying how wrong they were about all of it. About all of it, guys. And speaking of which, over at The View, Alyssa Farah said in January that she would wear a MAGA hat on the show if my father got the hostages out. Check it out for yourself, guys.
My point when I say I'm not going to be apocalyptic, it's not changing a tune. It's not making every single thing a 5-alarm fire.
Yeah.
If he does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you
Please
for
don't do
doing
that.
it.
Yeah.
And she'll knock it right off my head. But like
don't do that.
you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoing.
Well,
So I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm waiting. It's time to own it, Alyssa. Do what you said you were going to do. You didn't offer that because you want to wear one. You thought that he couldn't get it done. You thought that it was impossible. You thought that people and his team would be incapable of doing things that most of the people that you know would be incapable of doing. And maybe, honestly, maybe they would be capable, but unwilling. They were unwilling to try. They were unwilling to break those norms. So, guys, let's make sure that it happens. I don't know. Follow up on it. Reach out to her. Tweet at her. Truth at her. Post at her. Call the View. Whatever it takes. Let's see it happen. I want to see it, not just for a second. I'd love to see it for a whole show. And I'd love to see Whoopi and Joy try to crap on that while the world gets it. Just take a moment to imagine where we would be, guys, if the November election went differently. Imagine where we would be if Kamala Harris and her stooges and the Biden regime or Obama 3.0, whatever you want to call it, just rolled over and it was those same people. Because peace isn't just about fancy ceremonies and photo ops and fluff pieces in the media. Real peace, that's the hard stuff, guys. That's showing up every day and keeping your word and keeping your resolve and working non-stop, day in and day out until you get it done. This is what it's like when you have the actual adults back in charge, okay? The actual adults got this done. Remember? 4.5 years ago, Joe Biden's back. Oh, the adults are back in charge. Yeah, how'd that work out? Well, now, the actual adults, the real people, are back in charge. Not the usual suspects, and they're getting it done. The Middle East doesn't have to be this endless nightmare of conflict. We talk about it with so many different issues. The border, the economy, education, healthcare, you name it. We don't have to go down the road of managed decline. We don't have to accept that. We can do so much better. And you're seeing it happen in real time. Watch DJT just talk about success and hear it from Scott Jennings and others because it matters and it changes the game.
It's a win for the United States of America. This is what it looks like when you have an engaged, strong American president willing to get involved on the world stage. The president of the United States of America, when he acts like this, when he engages in tough situations, when he puts American prestige in the middle of a situation, we can make things happen. It just takes a strong leader, honestly, to get it done. And so I like it that Democrats are supporting the president on this. Of course, Republicans think President Trump has done a magnificent job. But what that tells me is that this is transcending politics. This whole issue, has been on our minds for 2 years. And I think all Americans, whether you support Trump or you oppose him, or whether you support Netanyahu or you oppose him, or wherever you are on the spectrum, you want it to end. You want peace. You want the hostages to come home. And so for the American president on the world stage to be the singular figure brokering this deal, it makes me feel great as an American. And of course, I'm glad as a Trump supporter that he's getting the credit that he deserves.
And as I close out this episode, guys, I want to play a bit more of my father's speech from yesterday, where he laid out his mission and his agenda. And as you're watching, as you're checking it out, just think back to all the indictments, the mugshots, the witch hunts, the smears, the nonstop TDS. Think about the assassination attempts. They wanted to kill him. And guys, think about where we are now, a few short months later. It's amazing. It's real. And it's absolutely spectacular.
Look at your chances when it all started. And you know, if you think about it, you are safer today, stronger today, and more respected today than at any time in the history of Israel. Think of it. People used to say it wouldn't exist. They don't say that anymore, do they? Yet if safety, security, and coexistence can thrive here in the winding alleys and ancient paths of Jerusalem, then surely peace and respect can flourish among the nations of the broader Middle East. The God who once dwelled among his people in this city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation, and he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world. And that is why even after 3,000 years of pain and conflict, the people of Israel have never given up from the threats of Zionism, from all sorts of threats. You want the promise of Zion. You want the promise of success and hope and love and God. And the people of America have never lost faith in the promise of a great and blessed future for all of us. From the very first day that modern Israel was founded, we have stood together through thick and thin of setbacks, and through victory and defeat, through glory and heartache. We have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil together, and we have waged war together. And perhaps, most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from Indonesia to Iraq, from Syria to Bahrain, Turkey to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan, another war that I just settled. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, America, and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. And I want to thank you all once again for this exceptional honor. This has been truly an honor. It's seldom that a president is invited to do this. And I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, to share, to subscribe. Just do it. Hit the like button right now and then send it to like 10. I'll say 10. I mean like 100 or 1,000 of your closest friends, or share it on social. Just do it. Subscribe. Download the Rumble app so you can actually see real news on your TVs at home. Check out our incredible sponsors down below and in the video description. Okay, they have the guts to support this kind of programming. Honestly, I'm sure they've lost a lot of customers for it. I'm sure they've been attacked for it. I know many of them have personally. And yet they stuck with it. They had the resolve. Okay, they understood what you understand. So support them. Show them that love. Okay, check us out on Apple, on Spotify. If your friends get their podcast that way, share it with them there as well. Okay, we need to do this as a team. We need to break from the norms. We need to break away from the establishment. And if we do that, we've proven that we can get real results. So you guys are a part of it. Like, share, subscribe. Do it now. Check it out. Get it out there. Guys, thanks as always. I'll talk to you again very, very soon. Have a great night.